Think about this quote for a moment and try to grasp the statement, not with your logical mind, but with yourself. If time isn't real, what is it we're experiencing? What is aging? What is memory? What is tomorrow? Time is the one thing we chase, measure, save, and fear losing. Yet despite how real it feels, there's growing evidence from both neuroscience and philosophy that time, at least the linear version we cling to, might be nothing more than a mental construct. A clever illusion crafted by the brain to give coherence to the chaos of our perceptions. In this video, we'll explore how your brain manufactures the past, imagines the future, but exists only in the present. We'll examine what science, consciousness, and even quantum theory have to say about the illusion of time. And by the end, you may never look at a ticking clock or your life the same way again. Let's start with your brain, the master illusionist. While we think of time as a steady stream, our brain doesn't process the world in a smooth, continuous flow. Instead, it's more like a series of snapshots, stitched together into a narrative that feels seamless. Take vision, for example. Your brain takes 80 to 100 milliseconds to process visual input. By the time you perceive something, it's already in the past. Yet your brain compensates by predicting and retroactively adjusting your experience to make it feel like it's happening in real time. This means every moment you perceive is actually a memory. You're always a few milliseconds behind the present, but your brain hides that fact with exquisite craftsmanship. This gets stranger. Consider the stopped clock illusion. Look quickly at a clock secondhand, and it seems to freeze momentarily. That's because your brain is rewriting the moment before your eyes even fixated on the clock. In a flash, your sense of now expands to include events that already occurred. Time is not flowing in these moments. It's being actively created. So, if time is constructed and it's not perceived, what is it really? Memory is often mistaken for a video recording of the past. But in truth, your memories are not stored with perfect fidelity. They're constantly being rewritten, edited, and shaped by your current beliefs, emotions, and goals. Every time you recall a memory, your brain pulls out the file. It then alters it subtly based on your present context and resaves it. This process is called reconsolidation, and it makes memory more like an adaptive storytelling device than a historical archive. In other words, the past only exists now, as a construction in your mind. Even traumatic memories thought to be fixed in stone have been shown to shift when people undergo therapies that work at the reconsolidation level. This is essentially rewriting them to reduce their emotional impact. So not only is your past mutable, it's continually evolving. So if the past is just a mental rendering, is there any real anchor in time behind us? Strangely, neuroscience shows that the brain's primary function isn't to interpret the present, it's to predict the future. The predictive processing model of the brain suggests that you are constantly forecasting what's about to happen and then adjusting based on errors. Your experience of the present is often a best guess, biased by what your brain expects to happen. For example, when you hear someone speak in a noisy room, you don't hear every word. They're filled in by your expectations and past experiences. Your brain is simulating the future and pulling it into the now. The same holds true on a broader scale. You plan, imagine, worry, daydream. These are all future-oriented processes. But here's the thing. The future, by definition, doesn't exist. It hasn't happened. So your brain is spending enormous energy creating mental models of a reality that has never occurred. So, if the past is malleable and the future is fictional, what is the present? Eckhart Tolle, in The Power of Now, urges us to live fully in the present moment because it is the only moment that truly exists, and he may be more right than he realizes. In physics, particularly in Einstein's theory of relativity, there is no single now that exists for all observers. Time depends on your position and velocity. From a cosmic perspective, all moments, past, present, and future, coexist in a block universe, like pages of a book. You just happen to be reading one page at a time. But your brain resists this idea. It craves order, causality, and a sense of flow. So it creates the illusion of time to prevent cognitive dissonance. This brings us to consciousness, the storyteller of time. Your sense of self depends on a temporal narrative. I was born here, I did this, I'll go there. Identity itself seems impossible without time, and yet meditation and mystical states often dissolve this narrative. Time vanishes, identity collapses. Why? Because the default mode network, DMN, of the brain, which governs autobiographical memory and projection into the future, goes offline during these states. And with it, the illusion of a linear time dissolves. In flow states, when athletes or artists describe being in the zone, they report losing all sense of time. Hours feel like minutes. This is not mystical, it's neural. The brain suspends its normal timekeeping processes, and the self dissolves into being. Could it be that true presence, true consciousness exists outside of time? Consider dreams. Entire lifetimes can unfold in the span of a few minutes. There's no clock, no linearity, just a flow of events stitched together by your brain's internal logic. Similarly, under psychedelics like psilocybin or DMT, people report time fracturing, looping, or vanishing altogether. Hours collapse into seconds, some report experiencing eternity. These states are not bound by time because they bypass the brain's conventional filters. In fact, neuroscientist Robin Carhart-Harris suggests that the brain operates with predictive suppression to keep reality stable. Predictive suppression suggests that these top-down predictions suppress or filter out expected sensory information. By filtering out the predictable, the brain can focus its resources on processing novel or surprising information. This process contributes to the stability of perceived reality by reducing the amount of information that needs to be consciously processed. People experience a relatively stable and predictable world because the brain anticipates and filters out the familiar. Psychedelics release this suppression, creating chaos, yes, but also glimpses into a reality less constrained by time. So maybe time is a consensus hallucination, a framework we agree upon, just like the shape of colors or the taste of food. Many philosophers have challenged the existence of time. Plato believed time was created along with the universe and is dependent on the motion of celestial bodies. Immanuel Kant argued that time and space are not properties of the external world, but forms imposed by our minds on sensory input, a scaffolding that helps us organize experience. More recently, physicist Julian Barber suggests that time doesn't exist at all. Instead, reality is made up of a series of nows, snapshots of the universe, and it is only our perception that links them into a flow. In his words, change merely creates an illusion of time, with each individual moment existing independently, without any temporal connection. So when we ask, what time is it? We're really asking, which now am I in? What about aging then? If time isn't real, how do we explain aging? Aging is change. Cells die, DNA deteriorates, entropy increases. But this too may not require time as we know it. In thermodynamics, entropy moves from order to disorder. It gives us a direction but not necessarily a clock. Your skin doesn't wrinkle because it's 2025. It wrinkles because of environmental stress, gene expression, and energy loss. The body marks change. The mind narrates it as getting older. Even death, which seems like the ultimate marker of time's passage, may be a transition, one we don't fully understand, especially if time is a veil. What would life feel like if we let go of time? You wouldn't age psychologically, you'd simply be here. You wouldn't fear the future, because there'd be no future to fear. You wouldn't grieve the past as a fixed loss, because it never existed independently of your mind. You'd still experience change, sensation, growth, but not as a timeline, rather as a fluid unfolding. Indigenous cultures often live more in cyclical time, governed by nature and rhythm, not clocks. Children too, until taught otherwise, operate this way, immersed in the now. Can we return to this? Now let's think about time as a teacher, not a master. Rather than banishing time, perhaps the deeper wisdom is to see through it. Recognize its illusion, then use it skillfully. Deadlines can help you focus. Birthdays can remind you to celebrate. But they are tools, not truths. The deeper truth is this: you have never truly existed in the past. You will never exist in the future. You can only ever exist now. And if now is all there is, it changes everything, from how you heal, to how you love, to how you live.